I woke up thinking we're making a mistake, or at least we're missing an opportunity. We were making a decision last night about whether to go with the Sid or whether to go with St. George's as a venue for the March concert. And one of the points of being on the board is having a voice. And last night I didn't really use mine. I could sense that the sensible option was leaning toward going with the church because less expensive means less risk if we have to cancel. And there's a lot of sense in that. So my head goes, yeah, that makes sense. But then I started thinking about what are we missing if we don't go with the Sid? And then this morning I'm thinking about what a missed opportunity we might be having here. In the foyer, just outside the auditorium, there are two walls of places where we can put up a display. And I'm thinking what a great opportunity this is to make a distinction between the SSO and the other orchestras that would be coming to perform in the Comox Valley. One of the challenges we've been having up until this point is that we have some confusion. Some would call that brand confusion between the SSO and the VISO. And by sharing our history, and Pat, I think this is great for in your purview because you're a historian and you're great at putting together displays. We have a chance to put highlights from the timeline of what's made the SSO up until this point, what we value, what we do, why we do it, why it's important, why it matters, and who it matters to. We have a chance to connect with story and connect with also a new audience in the process. By performing at the Sid, we have the potential to be reaching people who otherwise might not have ever heard about the orchestra and might be missing out on what a gem this orchestra is. So sure, it's more expensive, but I didn't know, like, if we cancel because of COVID, does that mean we're on the hook for it? Or is there grant money in place for the theater, not for the orchestra, but for the theater to help offset the cost of such losses? So I was operating based on the assumption that if we have to cancel because COVID, that we'd be on the hook for that 1,107. So I was thinking about the cost of that risk, but I was not thinking about the cost of the risk of a lost opportunity. And so now everything in me is thinking we might be making a different kind of mistake here in the form of a missed opportunity. So when I think about going to the church for this particular concert, I feel like we're moving a step backwards. The stage area, I mean, the place where we have available for people to perform is not as spacious to my mind as at the church, at the Sid. There's more space for people to spread out at the Sid than at the church. There's more potential for a bigger audience at the Sid than at the church. And okay, so that sort of offsets, but I still keep coming back to this is an opportunity for us to experience something that is new to us. This is an opportunity for us to grow, not in numbers so much, but in experience and to be stretched a little bit. And one of the things that I wanted to be part of the board for was to give people an opportunity to grow. And I feel like going to the Sid helps to fulfill that. And going to the church, it feels like a step backwards. So it's not that going to the church is a bad option, it's a sensible decision. But I'm thinking, I really think the Sid is a better choice. Maybe not the more sensible one in terms of risk, and I have grown rather risk averse. Going through a pandemic will do that. But I think I'd be willing to put $100 toward offsetting the cost of that. And if we found 10 other people to do that, we'd have the cost of the Sid covered. And I think Lois Ann, maybe you can find us a sponsor who would be delighted to foot the bill for the SID, in which case all the risk to us is gone and it's just opportunity. So I vote the SID. I really do.